Entertainment MMA and reporter, Showtime Joe Rossi, with my main man, of course, the Vince McMahon of the MMA world here in the Midwest, Brian Angelo. Brian, happy rainy Thursday, but we're going to get some sunshine here with this guest today.
Yeah, rainy Thursday is right, man. I don't know, man. That whole Vince McMahon thing, every time you keep throwing at me, it's sometimes good, but lately he's not been getting some good responses, man. Vince McMahon.
I did like that Money in the Bank, if you guys seen it, where they were fighting up Titan Tower, and it was AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, and that whole scene was awesome. They fixed the chair. You know, he told him to get out of his office.
Yeah, I saw it. I did see it.
That shows the power of Vinnie Mac. I'm sure if we ever did that at FightCard headquarters, it'd be the same thing. Maybe Neil will be playing some video games and you'll be doing some paperwork. You know what I mean? So, but on that note, guys, special time today. Thank you for joining us. Once again, a big shout out to all our fans. Without you guys, we are nothing. And we hope this whole situation here, of course, that we're all living in finds you well and staying in there. We're all in this together, guys, and we're our honor and pleasure to be here for you guys as well. So, based on that, Brian, Governor Pritzker, us being on a little bit early right now, we can't update anything new. He's talking right now, but we do know yesterday, and a lot of people felt that, unfortunately, it was going to go. I don't know. Unfortunately, they were upset if it goes that way. Maybe it's the right thing to do health-wise. Los Angeles County officially on lockdown for 3 more months, they said yesterday. A lot of people thought that they were going to go this route here in Illinois. But on the other flip of the coin, you got Arizona opened up, ready for events. Florida has been open, other states. So, I mean, we're in the middle here. I really, you know, it gets a little bit more and more to get a feeling to see what direction Illinois is going to go here with everything else going on around us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it definitely is frustrating, guys. And again, I appreciate you guys being on here on a weekly basis with us, getting the updates that it is. You know, it's tough, right? Again, we wait for what the mayor's going to say, what Pritzker's going to say, what the state is going to say in several too. Believe me, Nilo and I are working around the clock. You know, again, just figuring out as it is. We come off of this. I have a couple things that, you know, a couple classes I go ahead and run after this. I'm done with you guys in Solo 2. Nilo and I talk in the evening times as well, too. He comes off of work, and we go and talk. We're texting each other during the day. I just came off of 2 really good phone calls, actually, earlier today as well, too. We're working around the clock to go ahead and get things played on off. Obviously, and nothing is official just yet, but we were pushing against it for the June 13th fight. At this point right now, it doesn't look too good on our end.
I mean, our dates are set, boss. I mean, we're ready for June.
Yeah.
Locations have been set.
Yes.
Dates have
we
been
are set.
But,
correct.
I mean, you know, and it can't be easy for you and Nilo. I mean, it cannot be easy because you guys are basically having to rearrange. I mean, the entire, not just a month or 2 worth of shows. We're talking the whole year here of events for FightCard Entertainment. It can't be easy, boss. It cannot be easy.
No, yeah, we have our dates that are locked in. We have our venues that are locked in. We have agreements that are already set in place and so forth and so on too for the whole year, guys. I want to say, again, special thank you and appreciation to all the fighters and the trainers and the gym owners, again, I said, that are bearing with us and catching the patience as well, too, with this whole thing. I know it's nobody's fault, guys, and we're all trying to do the best that we can, again, I said, during this time. But I just want to say, again, I said, I appreciate you guys, especially because when we have to change something because of what's going on as well, too, you guys are very cool about saying, no problem, Bri, no problem, Nilo, no problem, Caesar. We're rolling with you guys. You know,
they've been very understanding. Everybody from the fans to the coaches to the fighters themselves, obviously.
Yeah.
But you know, it shows your guys' class and character to not only look out for your staff at FightCard, but for everybody else involved with FightCard. Of course, you guys got to, you know, it comes from everybody's safety to making sure that everybody's training and staying informed. I mean, so it's great.
Man,
to be here.
And I'll tell you this, we already had plans on off for the July 11th show of who was going to be on the card and whatnot. And then, of course, we had the June 13th card that we had a great show matchups lined up as well, too, on there. So with that, I just wanted to go ahead and say that we're now having this huge card that's going to take place, putting it together, possibly, as I said, for most of it's going to look like July 11th at this time right now. So you want when you're looking at, hey, what's the best MMA event that's going to take place? Now you have the best of two fight cards from June 13th and the July show that we're going to put on the same card. It's going to be ridiculous. So, again, Chicago MMA. Just be patient, again, I said, with it, man. We're all getting back to it. I know the UFC had their show like last weekend last weekend.
Saturday. This past Saturday.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I lose track of the days, Joe.
I hear you, hey, man. I feel like I'm in that twilight zone myself too once in a while. Trust me, I need more than one a dozen cups of coffee some days. Believe me, my man. So so speaking of days, well, first off, our first friend says hello. He's always watching us on the Bull Show and as well as on FightCard Live. Matt Sanfrantello from Chicago. What's up, Matt? We know you're a big fan.
Matt, what's going on, man?
Sports.
I appreciate the support
and the MMA world. So we welcome you, and we're happy to have you and all our fans. So do comment, guys. Any questions for our next guest coming up today or ourselves, please don't hesitate to ask them. So, Brian.
Our big guest that's coming on in as well too. This guy, I on Monday, so Sundays, I know that everybody watches The Last Dance and watches the Chicago Bulls.
Don't
and then Monday morning,
turn off my phone. Yeah, I'm watching the Bulls.
Yeah, Monday morning, I reach out to Joe Rossi and I say, hey, any ideas of who you want for the Fight Card Live on Thursday? And he says, how about the champ? Let's get the champ on there on Thursday. And I said, you can ask him. You ask him and see.
I think for me, he's going to come on here. So I mean, if not for you as well. So
yeah, so we actually have him on here. You were able to go and get him through. So I'm going to bring Georgie on right now. Let's get him on here. I hope we got him right. 3,
Georgie,
2, 1.
I want to say some things here.
Oh, maybe that one didn't work. Did I lose him on that one? Hold on. We're going to take him off of there. Right. Okay, we're on. We got him on. I got him on.
He was very excited to be on here.
He was excited, really?
Because he very excited. He didn't have. I only had to ask him one time. Now this shows you first the character of a real champion. He wanted to do it. He knew our time was at 4:00. He goes, Joe, for you, of course, and the guys at Fight Card, you guys are the best. Can we change it to 3? And you know why he wanted to change it, Brian? The man has to train at 4:00, but still wanted to do the show at 3:00. So.
Dedication.
Yeah. And I always say this about Georgie Medina. He has represented this organization like a real champion should, inside and outside the cage, both ways. Absolutely.
We got him. Here we go, Georgie.
2-1.
2-1, and
there he is.
There he is. Yeah. Georgie, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. You guys are just frozen.
All right.
Oh, we're just frozen right now. Georgie, can you turn your camera sideways?
Let me see if that works.
There
you go. Yeah, that's better.
There he is. So, guys, you know what today is? A little trivia. You know what today is? Any idea?
What's today?
No.
22 years ago today, the world lost the chairman of the board, Frank Sinatra. And you know what? We got a guest today who, like Frank, does it his way. You're WeightClass, undefeated, undisputed, Fight Card, entertainment, MMA champion, LionHeart, Georgie Medina.
What's up, gentlemen?
Georgie, what's going on, brother? Hey, man, I was just saying it a little bit earlier before we got you on here that Joe asked for you earlier on Monday. I said, who do you want as the guest for this week's Fight Card Live? And he said, let's get the champ. And I said, Georgie doesn't like to do too much media, man. I was like, it's hard to go and get him to go and talk and blah, blah, blah. I said, you can ask him. You ask him. And then when he reached on back and said it.
Hulk Hogan had Mean Gene Okerlund. Muhammad Ali hit Howard Cosell. And Georgie Medina and myself have each other. Champ, welcome to Fight Card Live, baby.
Thank you. It's cool to talk to you guys, man, in a time like this. But yeah, once Joe had texted me, I was like, yeah, I'm down to do it. Let's do it.
Awesome.
So, all right, Georgie, let's start it off then. Let's talk about it, my main man. We're going to go back. Brian and I have been discussing it. Let's start back at 2017 when this whole journey started, okay? Right now, you are, no question of the doubt from anybody, the #1 welterweight MMA in the entire Midwest. Tell us about how this whole journey started. prior to being the #1 welterweight in the Midwest, and of course being undefeated at 8-0? Start us from the beginning, champ.
Man, it was definitely like a realization of what I wanted to do in life. And believe it or not, I was scared to take my first fight on that card in March of 2017, I believe. And I had set out some goals of what I wanted to do, and nothing was going to stop me from coming off that track. And here we are today.
Yeah, and I was just saying it as well too, is that it's not like, I mean, you look at it, you're a 3-time weight class champion, you're undefeated 8-0. That 8-0, you're number one ranked welterweight, again, I said, in the Midwest. That 8-0 is not like it's a bunch of scrubs or nobodies. You have a laundry list of guys that are on there as well too. That say even your very first fight, with Jay Farrell. I'm going to tell you like this, Georgie. When you first came on the scene, no one really knew who you were, right? So you got Jay Farrell, who and I think TDC, you were the first representation for TDC coming on over with us as well too. So when Dino and as well as Matt came on over and brought you on over, we're like, hey, all right, awesome. I know that Dino's a respectable gym, but we didn't know anything about you. You know what I'm saying? So you went against Jason Farrell as well too in 2017, and it was such a great fight, man. I mean, like even Jason Farrell was, I think he's got like a huge wrestling background. Like that's what it was. We knew all the stuff about Jason Farrell. We knew nothing about this Georgie Medina kid, and then all of a sudden, boom, Devon Jeffries, Max Perez, David Grant, Tyler Veal, Derek Cooper, Angelo, Omo. I mean, like these are all stud fighters that you went
against,
man.
Line for sure. Nobody can take that away from Georgie beating these fighters. These guys are top of the line fighters for sure that he beat.
So it within those fights, from Jason all the way up to Omo, as you progressed, obviously you're getting better and better and better every single fight. But truly, who tested you in that part of your career?
It wasn't the opponent; it was myself, first and foremost. Like when I'm going and I'm starting to get ready for a fight camp and stuff, it's not me getting ready for an opponent. It's me versus me. And I would put challenges in my way to see if I can push myself. Like when I went on and fought Tyler. I only had like 5 fights before I fought Tyler, or 4 fights, and he's the #1 ranked guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a big challenge. And then when I go ahead and call out Angelo, like this guy got double the amount of fights than myself, and he's got this big old crowd behind him. I'm sitting there at the end of the day thinking like, it's not me versus the opponent, it's me versus myself. I'm in my own head. I'm the one that's training every day. So I think myself being able to push myself to the limit every time, I'm giving myself the challenge.
Georgie, we got Jose Gomez here commenting on us. He says Georgie is a beast, and you know what? You're proving that time after time. Tell us a little bit about now, as far as, I mean, it can't be easy for your trainers there and your coaches. I mean, you have to step it up every level. How hard, or maybe it is easy, to come up with a new game plan and a new method of training for you before each fight you have?
Especially at this time, especially right now during this whole shelter in. How are you doing it? What are you doing?
I'm basically just focusing on my weaknesses. I believe in this saying that says elevation requires isolation. And with that being said, taking myself out of the spotlight and focusing on my weaknesses, breaking myself mentally, because I'm the only person that's going to break me. I don't want anyone to break me on the canvas. You know what I mean? So I'm going to fail in the gym before I fail out there. So I'm pushing myself. I've gained so much weight from, lifting and getting back to the basics on the heavy bag and stuff. But, champions you're going to see them thrive in this time of isolation, in this time of quarantine. And the guys that don't, you're going to understand that they don't want it as bad as, the other people do. And I want it better than anyone I've ever known. But like going back to what you were saying, Joe, me and Matt Johnson, my head trainer and my coach, we're both like getting better every fight camp. We're both, building that relationship within each other, to trust each other that we're taking the right steps of this journey. Because man, this is really hard. You know what I mean? I'm just not trying to be a good amateur fighter. Sooner or later, my goals are to become, pro and become a world champion. And if I get anything less than that myself mentally, I think I failed. So, I'm on my way to becoming a world champion here.
And the signs are definitely leading to that point, Georgie. Now, besides your training crew, I mean, you have a big family fan base. I mean, your parents are wonderful people. Big shout out to your parents there.
Before I go into this, dude, I'm gonna say this. I remember interviewing you before the Max Perez fight, just like this Fight Card Live. You were, I mean, you've totally evolved, man. You've grown up in front of me as well too. I just want to say that as well too, brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, you were a kid coming into the cage as well too, right? I remember the very first interview. You were really excited and you were always bouncing around, always, like whatever, blah, blah. Now you're all smooth, calm, and collect, and whatever's it is. I remember during that interview though that you came up with a T-shirt phrase that I told you we should go ahead and put on a T-shirt. It was teamwork makes the dreams work. You remember that?
Yeah, Coach Rita had told me that.
Yeah, and now you have a new shirt line that says elevation, dude.
Requires isolation.
Like you're a walking marketing, plug as well too, brother. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a cool mindset to go ahead and hear from someone. How do you keep yourself in that mindset? Is it, are you reading? How do you keep yourself so cool and calm as you get closer and closer to fight time?
I surround myself around wise people and people who have been there before. You know what I mean? Like long before I was fighting, my mom and dad were fighting. They were, fighting to try to pay the bills, fighting to put some food on the table, fighting to keep a roof over our head. And, I've seen that, and it's a representation of their character. And it's now installed in me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the older I'm getting, the more humble I am, and more grateful I am to appreciate the things around me. And
that's the point I wanted to make, is that you have a lot, man, the difference is there too, and behind the scenes is your family bond with each other. I mean, they all show up. I mean, you have so many people come to your fights, Georgie. I mean, that's got to be definitely something extra special for you besides your training mentally, to have your family, such a supportive family in your corner there. And your mom and dad are wonderful people, your family. I mean, we know them all. I mean, and they just don't let up. They want to see you succeed. And that's going to be something a lot of fighters really, you would think, have, but don't. That whole family bondness like that.
Yeah. My family's one of a kind for sure.
I love your mom. I love your mom and your dad, actually. They're great, man. It really is like like a reunion whenever they come on in. And I love the support as well, too, guys. Georgie, even when you're not on the card, you guys still come on out. I think that's a huge representation, again, as I said, for what it is. You like to watch the fights. You like to watch these up-and-coming fighters as well, too, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a fan as well, as much as I am a champion. Like DKO, shout out DKO. I hope he's watching. I'm a fan of his. Tyler Jones, that guy, man, he's special for sure. I, hit him up on Facebook all the time and Instagram, and we go back and forth just like talking about fights and different strategies and stuff. So yeah, I'm a fan as much as I am a champion.
And I want to go back to what you said about you're really not about the opponent; it's about you yourself. And I can remember many a times, again, said on the matchmaking side of it, with all 8 of your fights, if a fighter fell off or we had an opponent for you and so forth and so on as well too, if they changed a fighter on you, or even Nila was saying, hey, you know what, we're having a hard time finding someone that wants to fight you, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, how did you take that? Did you say, hey, you know what, they're going to figure it out. I'm just going to continue to go ahead and train.
Yeah, that's something that's getting harder and harder now, as we've seen from the last fight, finding an opponent. But I think champions will always adapt. You know what I mean? On any circumstances, what they're going to be. You're going to have guys that are a lot faster than me, guys that are going to be a lot stronger than me, guys that are going to be more technically sound than I am. But I'm going to find a way to win, and that's what defines a champion. And that's what separates me from all these other fighters. Is no matter who you put in front of me, I'm going to find a way to win.
Awesome.
You're definitely a no excuse kind of champion, Georgie. Absolutely. So as we're talking about these fights, we got to bring up right now, I mean, you and Angelo were both responsible for the record-breaking attendance at Cicero Stadium. Of course, with the awesome promotion by that man right there, Brian Angelo, promoting it. But without you and Angelo, we wouldn't have broken the attendance record at Cicero Stadium. I would think that was probably up until that point, the biggest moment of your career.
For sure. And I had definitely seen it in my head far before it even happened. You know,
4 años mayor Rivera Jr., altura igualada. En cuanto al alcance, una pulgadita más para Georgie Medina. Rivalidad de estado. Y la afición dividida también, Gastón Reino. El día de hoy, preparado ya. Se viene la campana, campanita. Dice Georgie Medina, yo estoy listo, usted está listo. Rivera Jr. decía, yo también, señor. Campana, campanita, arrancamos con las acciones de este combate a nivel amateur, pero con mucha expectativa.
As we're taking a look now at some of the footage of that historic event
Querido Tonga, del Uruguay,
that was on Combates Americas, of course,
buenísima esta pelea.
and part of a whole other fight team
entre los dos, más de
event, 2 big
25
card
peleas.
that day, sold out. Like I said, we did it. We broke the attendance record at Cicero Stadium.
Yeah.
And I thought, I said this a couple times on this show, our last show before this whole quarantine, stay in place order took place here, happened. The March 1st show with you main eventing, that was one heck of a main event. I thought it was only fitting that I said, you know what, there was a reason why you would headline that before all this happened. Tell us about your last fight and how you felt about it on March 1st.
Oh man, I was excited. I'm blessed that the promotion and the matchmakers got me a fight. I was excited. But at the end of the day, I'm going to do what I do best, and that's go out there and fight and put on a show for the fans. So that's all I wanted to do, man. I'm just in a blessed position that I can do what I love. So, yeah, it was a regular fight camp, just like any fight camp, and just go out there and showcase my skill. And
yeah, I've said it many times. I mean, at least we went on a send-off here before all this happened that we're all dealing with, the COVID-19 crisis. But that last show was definitely something special. And to have you headline it and win was the icing on the cake there. So I think we've gotten to the point of conversation here. I have both of you here. I'm going to ask Brian. You may have somebody in mind, but we're going to have to ask the champ. Champ, the world wants to know. It's going to be happening sooner than later. Let's hope. Who's next on the list for Georgie Medina?
I'm not sure.
Are we going to go for a 4th title? Are we going to go up in weight class, down in weight class? Are we going to defend the title? What are we doing here?
No, for sure. I'm, the promotion got plans and I got plans myself. And what we can do together is talk and get together on that. But
Absolutely.
I have my mindset on winning a 4th belt at 185 and defending it there. I'm at 200 pounds right now.
Ryan in his head, he's smiling, but inside he's like, man, this guy's going to make it really hard for me to fight somebody to fight him.
Hey, if there's anyone that can do it, it's me. Who's stopping me, right?
No, you know what? I'm going to go back to this, brother. So, because we kind of get ahead of ourselves before everything else, because Joe just likes to. But,
I love Joe. Joe, my God.
I get right to the point, man. I get right to the point.
Yeah. Joe's question just caught me off guard, Georgie. I don't know if you saw my face, and then you answered, and you made me even more like, oh shit. So
that's the love of real TV, man. You got to do it.
This is the point of it being live, right? Is this exactly what's next and what's next for us? And you're absolutely right, Georgie. There is sky's the limit again. I said on the things that you want to go and do, and you know, like. Obviously, the Angelo fight, you called that on out. You made that promotion happen at Level 2. I want to actually go back to that for a minute, if you can, for a second, because it was a huge roller coaster ride as well, too. It was the most promoted fight that ever happened on FightCard Entertainment. You guys announced the fight basically in February because you called them on out. There was a scuffle, blah, blah. We all know the history of it. And then it was announced in February. The fight didn't take place until September. I want to know, for someone like you who doesn't like media, how did you react to all that stuff? Like you weren't not taken away from any of the other fights, not taken away from all your other fights, but this was the biggest matchup that was most promoted with you and Angelo. What's the thoughts on your whole ordeal? You were calling him on out. the 6-month buildup, you went through open workouts, you did interviews, you saw interviews of Angelo. He was trying to get in your head. We moved from Rosemont to Cicero Stadium. Then the Combate Americas deal came on in there to make a little more pressure on there. And then the fight itself. How did you deal with all that?
It was, this is a tell-all, so I'm going to be as open and honest as possible. It was definitely a lot. The stress, the anxiety, the depression, to be honest. It was getting to a point where it was just too much. And me having all that pressure on me where I'm trying to be great, it was, I just wanted to let everything slow down for a second. And I just had to put myself around smart people, wise people to give me my words of encouragement, people to tell me that I'm doing it right. Because I don't want to go and do media and then I'm like portraying to be somebody I'm not. I want it to be all vintage, all me, all authentic. You know what I mean? And it's definitely brand new for that fight. It was super big, but I feel like I adjusted great, and I did what I was supposed to do, and we came out on top, just how I pictured.
When Combate Americas came to me and spoke to me about you and Angelo and everything else in the event and so forth and so on as well too, that's exactly my very first thought. Neil and I said, we're going to talk to Georgie, we're going to talk to Angelo, and it's truly on up to them. It's truly on up to them of what they want to go ahead and do. Like, we're not putting any pressure on you guys. We don't want to. I remember spoke to you at the open workout with you and Matt, and I said, we're just here to lay down those opportunities to you, man. Like, if you take it, you take it. You don't take it, it's totally on up to you. And we're just trying to help you on and grow. And believe me, I hope that's all that really can see through it. But I want to go and stress on another thing, because Joe brought up about family and how much of a fan base and how true family is to you. You know, being a fighter, being wrapped up in this crazy world that we live in. It was media day. It was right after the weigh-ins on the Combate Americas, and they were all over you. They were all over Angelo, and you disappeared. I don't know if you remember this. And they were looking for you to go ahead and do the interviews and do the testimonials and blah, blah, leading on up to the fight. And everybody was blowing you up. Caesar was blowing you up, and they're like, dude, where is Angelo at? Do you remember where you were at?
I went to go eat with my family.
You went somewhere else after that. They told me that you went to the cemetery.
Oh yeah. My uncle had passed a long time ago, and that's, oh man, you just bringing that up gets a little bit. But I feel like he's my guardian angel, and we went to go pay our respects, and just to make sure that he was with me physically and mentally, because it was just a lot for that fight. Oh man, Angelo, you got me on that one. But yeah, family's my rock. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's a fact.
Yeah, I don't do anything without them being in my mind. They're the reasons why I go out there and do what I do. Who wants to have a job of like getting into a big fight with a bunch of people? You know what I mean? That's a lot of stress. But when I think about it, at the end of the day, it's much bigger than me. It's for my family, so that one day when I make it, we won't have to struggle again. You know what I mean? Yeah. We can live life how we want to. We can go wherever we want to without no questions.
We were blowing you up, blowing your phone on up. I remember that, and then like we couldn't get in touch with your mom. We couldn't get in touch with anybody. I'm like, dude, where did he go? And Combate Americas is like, like we need him. He needs to be here right now. Da 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 da. And then I saw the post. I saw the picture. I think your mom posted the picture, and I took it from my Facebook and I showed it to Nilo, and I'm like, yo, this is where he's at. And I was like, of course. I'm like, that's of an importance. And I was like, hey, I told Combate Americas, I'm like, he'll come back later on when he's ready. And I said, leave him alone. Yeah. And that was a big deal. That was a big deal for me too, brother. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, as crazy as the world is, I say it all the time with my daughter, as crazy as the world is, I'll always have time for family. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like they always make it on back for it. So, and I think that going forward, brother, it's going to get crazy of a ride.
Crazier.
you got all the right people around you, man. You know, you got all the right people around you. Your brother, your sisters. You know, you're a new uncle. I heard too, right, man?
Yeah, my nephew was born Cinco de Mayo.
Congratulations to you and the family, Georgie. Beautiful news.
Thank you. There's 5 nephews and 2 nieces, and
Man,
they look up to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every move that I do, everything that I say, they're right there watching. So I got to make sure I'm making them proud.
All right, so I know that we're hitting so let's go back to the hard questions. And let's go to the one.
Well, I just wanted to say, back on what you were expressing, Brian. I mean, even not just for the fighters. I mean, because I want to say you and Angelo. I mean, at your very best, it was all new for you guys. I mean, the build up to that fight at Cicero Stadium was just as exciting as the fight itself. Because, like you said, it was 6 months. We were at Harlem and Irving Plaza. Remember that Saturday?
Yeah, everybody was talking about it. Everybody was talking about the fight. I mean, people were saying that we've been promoting for such a long time. They felt like it was a long time, and they were just eager to go ahead and get the fight already on in. So it definitely was great as well too. So leading on up, I mean, going into it forward now, and you talking about the 185-pound division, is that something that? What is that, dude? Yeah, you totally lost me on that.
So,
yeah,
dude, I'll tell you this. I bet you any money, Nilo and Caesar are gonna watch this and be like on their phone right away, like, "Oh, dude, Georgie, watch all." All crazy. But go ahead.
That's exactly what I want, man. I want to go down in history as the best amateur fighter in the Midwest. And who's doing the things that I'm doing? 3 weight classes, undefeated. Hopefully gonna be 4. You know what I mean? The fighter that I look up to right now is Canelo, and he's taking, those risks and bumping up weight classes and taking on guys that are a lot heavier than he is. And I'm thinking to myself, why can't I do the same thing? Potentially, my goal was to go 10-0 in amateur and then turn pro. So why not, win it, defend it, and then call it and shock the world in the professional level.
And that's my other question as well too. Obviously, we have a long journey, that's going to take place again here with you. You're still just an amateur fighter. You still have your professional level. You already have goals still tending for you in the amateur level, and then obviously going into the next professional level. What else, though? I mean, like I just said it before, you're a walking marketing. You like on the business sense of it. What else? What other future aspirations do you have later on? After, I mean, I know we have a long time, but after the fight career, what happens when Georgie Medina, do you have any plans on mind for that?
My brain doesn't think that far ahead. I'm
Georgie, not to be rude, but let's let everybody know how old you actually are, because a lot of people don't know.
I'm 23 years old.
23.
And look what you've accomplished already. So I mean, yeah, you got some long ways to go, my main man. I mean, absolutely.
Yeah, I've only been competing for 3 years. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So when people ask me all the time, like, when are you going pro? When are you, making it to the big level? And I'm just like, whoa, chill out. I know I got the skill, and I know, like you said, Brian, that I'm marketable and stuff like that. But there's so much that I got to learn still. You know what I mean? When I hit the main stage, I just don't want to. I don't want to be a regular Joe. I want to go on there and shock the world. They told me time and time again, hey, you can't build a world champion in Chicago. I'm not going to name names, but they said you can't build a world champion in Chicago, and that stuck with me. And I was just like, all right, watch me make it happen.
Wow.
And so I'm driven, man. I'm focused. I'm driven. I'm determined. I'm disciplined. I'm like John Wick when he's hunting. You know what I mean? Send them all, but don't send whoever you want back, because they ain't coming back. And if they do, I bet you they won't make the team.
Well, you know what, man? Will definitely motivate you that you can't build a champion in Chicago. You've already proven that statement wrong, my friend.
My man.
Bro, I say it all the time as well too, man. You're a great representation, not only for our company as a fighter, for FightCard Entertainment, but also for Chicago all in itself. And that's a big thing that we have. The problem with Chicago, and I hope that you find that with FightCard Entertainment, is that we try to go ahead and make sure all of Chicago knows who the fighters are, especially you, right, being at the top of it. and a good representation of Chicago. You know, it's funny, we're talking about the Last Dance and the Chicago Bulls and everyone else, man. Michael Jordan said the best line on out there, man, when they lost one of the games in the final or in the playoffs, and said, you know, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where you go. You don't got to go to Indiana. You can go to Utah. You got to come through Chicago. You got to come through Chicago in order to go ahead and beat us and win. And, I mean, that's the same way through of that mentality, right, is keeping it. Hence the reason why we actually said we are Chicago is because we truly are the promotionist from Chicago with the best fighter in the Midwest in Chicago. It's not in Indiana. It's not in Wisconsin. It's not in Iowa. It's here in Illinois. And it's in Chicago as well, too. Hard question coming on up as well, too, brother, because I know that your mom brought it up in the past as well, too. I think in passing or blah, blah, but there were some girls at one of the fights, and she said, and she like hushed them away. Some girls at the fights, and you were there, and she said, I always got to protect the champ. She just telling me I got to protect the champ. So, you know, like you're locked in right now, brother. You know what I'm saying? Is there is there someone else in there, or are you just collecting and selecting?
No.
I hope he doesn't get you in trouble, man, Brian, asking you this, Georgie. Because I got a feeling there may be more than one, man. I hope he didn't get you in trouble.
No, sir. There's only
one. It's a tell-all. It's a tell-all.
This reminds me of my Jerry Springer days when I used to work for him. So why not? Let's hear about it, Georgie.
Yeah, there is a you know, my girlfriend. I've been knowing her since I was a freshman in high school. We kind of like fell off track, but you know, we reconnected and it just clicked. And that's something with me is I don't like forcing something. You know what I mean? It just clicked and we put it together and yeah, we've been good. So yeah, it's just.
Is that a good support? Is that a good support as well too? Then.
Yeah, for sure. She definitely knows how to take care of me mentally and physically. You know, if I got a shoulder problem, she's there massaging it. But yeah.
There's your coach. There's Matt Johnson. He said, plead the fifth.
Oh man, I love him. That man.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess like I said, man, is exactly that, right? I say it as well too. FightCard Entertainment, it's all about having the right people that are around us to go ahead and move forward. And Georgie, you're the same way as well too. It sounds like you have the right family, you know, your girlfriend, the right coaches, the right training camp, and everything else to go ahead and moving forward. And you're not rushing it at all either. Dude, we've been around for 15 years, and it's the same way for us in the very beginning. I fueled on that in the beginning. When we first started off, Nilo and I, for FightCard Entertainment, we were totally put down. We were said that, oh, these guys are nobodies. They're young. They have nothing to do with the MMA scene. You know, and we were put down left and right as well too. And look at it now. Like I said, best MMA promotion that's on out there. Like I said, in the Chicagoland area, and we're still getting those things that are out there. Champ, anything else you want to go ahead and add on that you want to shock me anymore during this whole thing?
No, man, I really want to say from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate everything you guys do for not just me, but for my family and the fighters that are out there, giving us a platform to, you know, give our arts to everyone else and showcase what we have, what we've been working hard for. These are you guys that have regular jobs, you know, guys that have their own families of their own, and they're training, they're working hard just to showcase their skill and to have that night. You know what I mean? And you guys give us that opportunity. So I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you all.
No, thank you, brother. Again, I said for being part of it as well. And I say the same thing. To witness it truly is a thing. I was telling it to my wife actually after you won in the Combate the Americans fight on September 1st with Angelo. You got emotional in the cage that night. I got emotional with you. I was just like, damn, like I seen this kid for the last 3 years coming on up as well too, and to accomplish the goals that it is. And that's what we want for all of it, right? We want that as your parents, they want the best for you, right? And they want the best for all of your kids. That's exactly what we want. Truly and honestly, Neil and I only want the best for every single one of you fighters that are out there to go and excel to that next level. And again, like for you, brother, on the media side of it, would you be willing to do more stuff like this?
Yeah, I'm not against it. You guys know me. You guys see me in person, and then I'm different when it comes to like media stuff. I'm
Yes.
kind of like few words. But I'm open to do anything that's going to, just help out what you guys got going on, to help out what I got going on, and to help out.
That's the one thing I have to say about the champ. Georgie, for a man who in the position you're in, with all the girls, wanting you,
you're gonna get him in trouble, dude. We're gonna get in trouble.
Wanting him, not that he wants all of them, but with everything, the position you're in, with the girls chasing after you, being a 3 weight class undefeated division champion, everything else. All the media attention wanting to follow you, you are definitely, truly a real great-hearted person, down to earth, no ego, and I think that's also a plus, that the attraction people have towards you. You're just like you said. I mean, you don't want to be a regular Joe in the cage, but you want to be, you want to relate to the people, real life situations, to your fans and everybody else, which I think is a big quality in being the position you're in. You know what I mean? So I mean that's for sure.
Yeah, shout out to my pops for that. My dad is he's definitely one of the wise men that I have around me, and he's always told me since I was a kid wrestling, stay humble and stay hungry, because there's someone out there that's going to be a lot hungrier than you are. Once you start getting, comfortable where you're at, someone's going to take you out. And that's something my dad always tells me. And
there's one more thing I want to say. As much as you're always wanting to learn and improve more, Georgie, and I would think there has to be a lot of people who have to agree with my statement right now, you do have God-given talent. God gave you the talent, and you're molding it to a higher level each time you fight. So I really want to say that, because it's a fact. That, I mean, and like Brian said before, there's nothing like what you could see yourself on the films and the tapes, but there's nothing like watching you fight live. That's for sure.
Thanks, I appreciate that for sure.
Daphne, obviously, she's on there as well too, and she says we're ready. So going back to it, Georgie, I know you're still training, and we're keeping you from the training. You're gonna start training in a couple of minutes here. Are you ready? Are we hoping to see you back in the cage probably on our next show, like in July or later? It depends on you and Matt.
No doubt. I'm staying ready so that I won't have to get ready. We'll sit down with Johnson and talk about, the opponents that we have available. But I just want to let everyone know, from 165 all the way up to 185, be ready for that call. Because once it comes, I don't want you declining.
Well, Georgie, I got to put you on the spot, because you said you want to go 10-0. So, Brian, based on that, we got him for 2 more big fights at least before. I got to lock you in, champ. Don't make me look bad, man.
Joe just booked your next 2 fights, George.
Don't make me look bad, champ. We need you for 2 more to get that 10-0, man.
No doubt it's going to happen for sure.
Yeah, brother. No, I appreciate it as well too. Any upcoming sponsors and so forth and so as well too. Make sure you guys are looking out for Georgie Medina. Obviously, guys, I'm gonna end with this as well too. Before Angelo and you, the big fight that was taking place, we did the golf course fight. We did the fight at the golf course. It was the outdoor show, and right before we went on, probably an hour before, all the officials, the state officials and everyone else, started collecting inside the locker room over there in the golf course. And I know that I was there as well too. And me being a promoter, I'm like talking to you guys. I'm not talking about Angelo, talking about you and blah blah. This big fight that's coming on up and all the officials were all about it. They're like, "Holy shit, it's gonna be huge! It's gonna be huge! It's gonna be huge!" There was one judge that was like, I've never heard of this kid before. I've never heard of Georgie before, or I've never seen him fight before, something like that. And everybody, all the officials turned to him and was like, What are you crazy? Like, you've never seen this kid fight before? You don't know who this fighter is, blah, blah. He came on, I believe he came on, he judged the September show, and then he judged the December show. This last fight, he was like hugging me and saying, "You guys are the best." And one of the reasons why is because he was saying I only judge all the other shows. I've never judged really the fight card, so I don't really know. I've never really seen Georgie fight. And it's like, what? After he saw you fight, he was like, dude, he's the greatest fighter I've ever seen. You guys are the greatest promotion. Can I work every single one of your fights and blah blah blah? And I just want to say of just that type of witness, again, I said, of being in the building and being in the presence of watching you fight, and just how much more of on the entertaining side of it, of just, wow, you're just in complete awe of the fight and just where you take that whole game as well too, brother. So it's an awesome thing for me to go ahead and see it, as well as the other fans that are out there. And for people who don't know it, I'm pretty sure at this point right now, everybody in the MMA community knows who you are. It's getting you for those casual fans to say Georgie Medina, Chicago representation, Georgie Medina, and that's the game plan that I see for you as well too, right? So if there's anything that we can do to help you, let me know, brother.
Yeah, for sure. We'll definitely. That's when I think about it, it's kind of crazy because like I'm just a normal kid from Chicago. You know what I mean? Who's striving for something big. And when I have those interactions like that, I had run into this kid at Dunkin', and he was just like, "Man, it's so great to meet you." And I was just like, "Dude, I'm just trying to get my coffee and my donut." You know what I mean? So it's definitely humbling, but it just shows that I'm doing something right.
I remember that at Harlem Irving Plaza for the open mic,
yes.
How many people wanted your autograph? Not to mention, after the fight in March, the security, I mean, you had to be escorted out of there.
Yeah.
Before you took the picture. I had some friends there. Okay. I had some friends that came in and they wanted to meet you. Two friends of mine were there. And I said, hey, Georgie, but before you came by us, they were ready to escort you out because you had a mob of people at Joe's Live.
Yeah.
You couldn't move down from the stairs to the door. And you're like, oh, and I won't forget it. I got to get with Joe and his friends real quick. Security's like, oh, yeah, for sure. Everybody else got tossed out. You came by me and my buddies. But, dude, you couldn't even get down the stairs, bro. I never saw anything like that.
It's
Harlem
crazier after every fight.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to start coming in through the back door.
Yeah, Harlem Irving Plaza, I remember that as well, too, because your time spot was done. You did the interview and everything else as well, too. And everyone still wanted to take pictures with you. You had the kids that were over there as well too, and other fighters were already coming on. And they're like, man, I was like, dude, you gotta wait till Georgie's finished. Georgie's got it all done. Like there was just crowds and crowds of people that were there.
I'm
so it was cool.
honest,
very, very cool.
Never asking for my autograph. I was like messing up my name, and it was like the first time I never really practiced having an autograph. It was funny, but it was good, man. It's a blessing. Like that's a memory now. You know what I mean? I'll cherish that forever. I got pictures to prove that I was there. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I did that.
Yeah. And so much more, brother, as well, too. And again, that's the whole point about it is the best thing about FightCard Entertainment and what we do as well, too, brother, is to make sure that we promote the fighters. I always say it all the time. The fighters are the show. We're not the show. You know what I'm saying? You guys are the show, and we promote you guys, and we want to push and promote for you guys. And then they'll associate and be like, yeah, Georgie Medina, 3-time champion, #1 ranked, blah, blah. He fights for FightCard Entertainment, and that's more or less what we're looking for. That's the benefit to what we're doing on the promotion side of it as well, too. Champ, thanks so much. Again, I said I know you got to go and train.
Thank you, guys.
As well, too, brother. So, hey, we're going to keep in touch with you. I'm sure that Caesar and Nilo, with this going on right now, they're going to hit you one up and Matt and be like, 185. Like, what's going on?
No matter what division, no matter what weight class, maybe a 4th title. But remember, 2 more fights till we get it to 10. He's red hot and he gives you goosebumps, baby. That's Georgie Medina. Red hot and goosebumps.
Champ, LionHeart. Thanks so much again, Seth, for doing this with us today. Again, Seth, being a guest with our tell-all, and we will see you guys again, Seth. Georgie, thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.
Ciao, Georgie.
All right, so that is our Fight Card Live. Again, said, guys, we had to go over because it's the champ. Again, said he moved us to a special time, and we had to go ahead and do a special longer preview as well too for that. Such a class act, right? I mean, he's so awesome.
That's what I said, Brian. I mean, 23 years old, so much attention, media-wise. Like you said, girls chasing him. MMA.
I'm not, dude. I've had girls that wanted to work for us. Just so that they can go ahead and be close to not only Georgie, but other fighters as well.
I believe it, man. Believe it.
That they want. Hey, let me know if we can work for you guys. Blah blah blah. And then we come to find out that it's like, hey, they just want to You know, and it's like, no, we're not trying to do that.
You know what?
So, yeah.
I think it's getting to the point where any Georgie Medina story right now, you believe it. You know, nothing's unbelievable when it comes to Georgie LionHeart Medina. It's getting to that point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah. So again, guys, thanks so much, ESF, for Fight Card Live at this point right now, guys. But we do have some other things that are lining up. We are here every Thursday at 4 o'clock is our regular time.
Yes.
Again, I was just saying, I said it earlier that we had some special stuff that's going on with us as well too, where we have, I got on 2 different calls earlier today and hoping to have some more conversation with that. Again, nothing official just yet, but just giving you guys an open thing. It looks like with the state of Illinois that we might be pushing the June 13th, just going over with the July 11th fight and continuing through from there. The final Fight Card Sports exclusive is this Monday, right, Mr. Joe Rossi?
this Monday, 8 p.m. with my main man, 13-year MMA fighter, veteran, Terry House, baby, from Indiana, Mr. Indiana himself. And you don't want to miss, because also we're going to have some special features since it's the last wrap of the Last Dance. So
It really is.
Extra stuff on the show this Monday, 8 o'clock, my friend.
Cool. I can't wait for it. And if you guys missed it, like I said, make sure you guys are subscribing to our YouTube channel. Hit the bell, like I said, for the notifications, because there's always some cool stuff that we have as well, too. They have to come through me. That we always have cool stuff that we have coming up, again, I said, for it. This past Tuesday, we had Curtis Blades.
Man, incredible.
Yeah. Former Fight Card Entertainment heavyweight champion. He's the number 3 ranked heavyweight as well too. He did a tell-all pretty much with Angelo Rivera while they were playing against it on Madden, and it was very cool against that for Curtis to hang out with us on that day, and hopefully we're gonna actually see more stuff there after that. So if you guys haven't done it, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys are doing that, and we'll see you guys next week. Mr. Rossi, you want to let us out?
Hey, on behalf of everybody at Fight Card Entertainment MMA, for Brian Angelo and all the crew, I'm Joe Rossi. And once again, fans, we love you. We thank you. Have a great rest of your day and week.